The Institute for Global Law and Policy, which we're just inaugurating at Harvard Law School, is a collaborative faculty and scholar effort that involves both leading scholars at Harvard and a network of scholars around the world, focusing on research into the most pressing policy problems facing the global community today, from armed conflict and humanitarian intervention, how can humanitarian intervention or engagement be effective, to economic regulation and economic development. From a national policy perspective, the most significant issues will no longer be solely local. It's important to understand the interaction between local policy objectives and the global economic environment into which they're being inserted. And that means working in close partnership with those outside the national community who will have a very important influence on the success of what you're trying to do internally. It also means that international actors who are seeking to effect change, bring about economic development, invest in a successful way in a local community will need to have very close partnerships with responsible and engaged folks in the specific country who can give them the kind of local knowledge necessary to be successful. I think if you're thinking about transnational risks and opportunities today, whether you're a company or you're a government, you need to begin by recognizing how mysterious the global environment really remains, and how difficult it is to understand where the levers are that move policy and that move public decision-making around the world. We do live in a world in which the butterfly in China proverbially affects people all over the place. Global activity is in many ways everywhere the result of very local forces. And understanding how that fits together is something that requires not only micro studies of particular places, but a macro vision of the way the pieces all fit together. If you think, for example, in the light of the vision the Institute has about problems of transnational risk and opportunity, how does one assess them from the perspective of a company or of a public policymaker seeking to operate on the global stage? I think the first thing to understand is how mysterious global governance and public policymaking at the global level remain. And it's very difficult to understand how to make one's decisions effective in an environment that's so chaotic and that's so diverse and plural. I think in assessing the legal and institutional environment in which companies and countries conduct their transnational affairs today, we need to understand there's a lot more law than people think. There may not be a well-defined and uniform global regulatory fabric, but whether you're conducting military operations across many boundaries or conducting humanitarian operations or business operations, there's law everywhere. And understanding the complexity of that and being able to understand the risks of operating in a sometimes quite chaotic legal environment is what we're all about.